大家好，今日咧好榮幸咧係請到阿 Matthew 咧喺 Nova Scotia 喺 Halifax 嗰度咧就同我哋咧就即係分享一下，因為個市場咧實在非常之熾熱啊！咁最主要嚟講咧，因為 Nova Scotia 咧喺離開我哋咧就有4粒鐘嘅，即係我哋而家5點半啦，差唔多啦嚇。咁佢咧就基本上咧就9點半嘅夜晚，所以咧我都好多謝咧阿 Matthew 咧就同我哋一齊去分享。咁啊就好快咧就請阿 Matthew 出場之前咧就同大家講一講咧就喺Halifax 咧就我哋成日都聽到嘅，喺新聞都成日聽到 Halifax 嘅，咁係 Nova Scotia 嘅 capital 嚟嘅。咁然之後咧 Nova Scotia 咧就大概咧就有100萬嘅人口，而 Halifax 咧就基本上咧就有一半嘅，即係有439819個人咧就係喺 Halifax 嗰度，而咧喺市中心咧就有348000多人係住喺市中心嘅 Halifax 嘅市中心嘅。咁所以變咗咧今日咧就成喺個疫情期間咧 Halifax Nova Scotia 咧嗰個housing 嗰個market 咧都係地產市場咧都係非常之熾熱嘅。咁咧而家咧就即刻出場嘅咧就係阿 Matthew， 咁我同佢咧就傾下究竟有幾熾熱啦。Matthew, so happy to have you on our show and sharing your insight with AM 1320 listener. Thank you so much. I know that it's late at your, where you are right now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little late, but no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's get right into the meat and see what is going on in, in Nova Scotia. So Halifax is where you practice, right? Yeah. And then we always hear about Halifax. That's all we know about Nova Scotia is Halifax all the time. So can you share with us what is going on of the housing prices, crisis and overheated and all that kind of stuff during COVID? Because mainly is domestic buyers. How come it's still so crazy? So let me translate that quickly into Cantonese. 咁咧我就想阿 Matthew 咧就同大家講啦，疫情期間有幾瘋狂，點瘋狂法，價錢點樣樣。Okay, share with us, Matthew, please.
Well, as someone who's lived here my whole life, it's always been a great place to be, and we kind of feel that the rest of the world has discovered it. But during COVID especially, we were considered an extremely safe place to be, where we had such low cases and lots of sort of provincial freedoms. So a lot of people wanted to come here.
OK， 咁佢意思咧就即係話咧喺疫情期間咧，佢哋就唔係咁多 case， 所以咧就非常之安全，就令到好多人咧都中意去 Nova Scotia 嗰度。So what is the housing prices? Who is buying? Who has been buying? Is there any bidding war, and then how demand it is? So let me translate that quickly. 究竟有幾熾熱，同埋咧又唔係好似我哋咁樣樣咧，就係咁咧競爭嚟到搶樓咧咁樣樣咧。So is it very crazy, the housing market there?
Yes, it's been a substantial increase in the past 3 years. And most recently, our influx of buyers are coming from elsewhere in Canada.
Oh, okay. Where about are they coming from?
From the bigger markets like Ontario and BC.
Really? BC? Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So let me translate that. 佢話咧就呢幾年嚟講咧，咩人喺嗰度買得最多咧？原來係安大略省同埋我哋 BC 省喎。哇！我哋 BC 省過去都好鬼死遠㗎喎。咁點解我哋會去嗰邊嘅咧？就真係 OK。So BC, like British Columbia going to Nova Scotia or Halifax is a long way. Like I don't even know how many hours. It's like me going back to Hong Kong. But
it's a 3-day drive.
No kidding. So how what are they buying? Who British Columbia? You see Chinese, or is it locals? And why are they buying there? So let me translate that quickly. 我就問佢啦，因為咁多咧，原來佢大部分咧都係安大略省同埋 BC 省啊嘛。咁究竟 BC 省咧，我哋去嗰邊咧就真係好似同翻香港一樣。究竟啲人過去買咧係買嚟投資啊，定係買嚟自住咧 ？Yeah, share with us what does BC buyers doing in Nova Scotia and Halifax?
Just like the Ontario buyers, they are looking to sort of get cash out in one market and buy into another market to hopefully sort of sort of trade up what they have for something larger, maybe something closer to the ocean.
Okay, and that is Ontario, also BC, or mostly Ontario buyers?
Both, I'd say.
OK， 咁佢嘅意思咧就即係話咩啦？好啦，安大略省同埋 BC 省嘅咧樓價高，所以咧佢見到咧好多啲人咧就係喺度咧就高價出售，喺嗰度咧就低價買啦。咁就好似我哋所謂嘅高賣低買咁嘅情況啦。So， 同埋咧佢哋中意買親嗰啲咧都係對住個海，對住個海洋咁樣嘅。So for that reason, how expensive or how cheap? Because the average price. What is the average detached house or townhouse or I don't know what do we buy? Like let's say British Columbia, what do we buy?
Most people are looking for the single family detached. Provincially, the average is around 380, or sorry, provincially the average for single family is around 450 now.
Okay, wow, 450 now. Okay, so 佢嘅意思咧就係我哋BC 省嘅人啦，無論你係華人又好，非華人又好咧，就去嗰度買咧，就多數咧都係買獨立屋嘅。咁你睇部獨立屋佢哋平均價幾多錢啊？你話啦？個省份平均價係45萬，就係陰公，我哋呢度買個 studio 都有啲問題。45萬 ，so $450,000 you can get a detached house. You say, is that what you say, right?
That is the provincial average. Like if we were talking about Halifax Peninsula, which would be similar, like by comparison to what it means to your province, it would be similar to Vancouver's relationship to British Columbia. Halifax, the average is around 850.
Oh, okay. Halifax is different. It's 850. Okay. 咁佢意思咧就即係話咧，頭先45萬嗰個咧係只不過係成個省份，你知啦，即係好似我哋BC 省咁啊話平均價幾多？其實咧每一個區啊，你西區啊、西灣啊同Langley 啊已經兩個世界嚟㗎啦價錢。咁所以咧喺佢嘅情況之下咧一樣 ，Halifax 咧係一個最主要多人去嘅地方，因為佢係Nova Scotia 嘅 capital 啦。咁所以咧佢嗰度嘅平均價咧獨立屋嚟計咧就85萬都係平啊！我哋85萬買唔到嘢啦，係咪先？咁所以變咗咧，即係邊度可以買到個獨立屋啦？唔係話買唔到嘢，不過咧就買唔到個獨立屋。So just out of curiosity, before the commercial kicks in, how much you can rent out for a for a house, for like a $850,000 house in Halifax?
I'd say they're probably renting in the, like if it was on the peninsula, let's say it's 2,000 square feet, you'd probably be renting that anywhere, depending on the number of bedrooms and how close to the universities, it'd probably be 3,500.
Wow, really? Okay, so let me translate that. 佢嘅意思咧就係話咧喺 Halifax 嘅中心，即係好似溫哥華咁，我哋有溫哥華市嘛。咁喺 Halifax 嗰咧，佢有個 Halifax 市。如果你當你85萬一間屋嘅時候咧，佢大概2000尺可以租到3500蚊喎，3500蚊，然之後租到一個即係個獨立屋咁樣樣，咁都唔錯喎。我哋呢度咧買一間80幾萬嘅時候咧，就隨時咧都係一個至少咧就我哋只可以買到一個大概condo 咁樣樣啦。咁有冇3500蚊咧？都有個可能性。咁啊睇下你幾靚啦，或者個地區啦咁樣樣啦。咁即係個講法就係話，我哋呢度咧就買一個 condo， 佢哋嗰度咧就買一個獨立屋。So right.Now we better go to the commercial, and then we come back for more information from Matthew. 咁我哋廣告翻嚟之後咧，就再同 Matthew 傾偈嘅，繼續。Okay, so we can carry on our conversation, Matthew, because I am on Facebook Live. So Facebook Live, I don't need to do translation, so which is a very good thing. Now, when it comes to, so maybe when we come back, you can tell us if there's any bidding war, like what is the price difference, 2019, 2020, 2021, that kind of stuff, like how much the average price, okay, in let's go Halifax because you focus it, like that's where mostly the BC investor goes, right? The BC investors, they don't go to the suburb, is that correct?
In talking to some of the legal community, there's BC investors looking in Halifax, but also we have a lot of available land. So people are sort of investing in areas directly outside of the city as well.
Okay, so maybe, so if that is the case, then when we come back, and then we're gonna, if you let us know what BC, British Columbian, they're buying in Halifax. So in that case, then, we know that it's not just Halifax, they will go to buy maybe building lot so that they can do building. Is that what they would do?
It depends on, if we're talking about large-scale investor, they're probably looking at the new zoning in Halifax. But
we're coming back.
The average...
Okay. So 4月30號投資金業 Tina 翻嚟再同大家繼續講下咧 ，BC 嘅人咧就去到 Halifax 啊或者 Nova Scotia 究竟買乜嘢咧 ？So Matthew, share with us what does British Columbians buy in Nova Scotia, please?
The large-scale investors probably looking in Halifax at some of our more attractive new zoning laws where we can build larger multi-unit buildings. But, sort of the average residential homeowner is likely going to probably look outside of the city for a little more land and space. Larger size of home on a bigger piece of land, but not that far from the city. It's maybe a 25-minute commute to get to a nice area that's close to ocean and lakes.
Okay, so let me translate that. 咁佢話咧 BC 省嘅人咧就去到 Halifax 咧就有時咧就想買啲咩咧，即係可以起多啲單位嘅，即係可以有個 rezoning 咁樣啦，有個新嘅 zoning， 咁即係嗰啲咁嘅城市計劃咁樣，變咗佢哋咧就可以起多幾個單位咁，即係賺錢啦，係咪？咁然之後咧就有啲咧就會去即係好似郊區，即係唔係市中心啦。點解咧？就因為咧就想要大啲嘅地，或者咧就對住個海洋，咁咧去對住個靚景，咁所以變咗咧就大概咧揸車咧就25分鐘車程到。So 我而家咧就想問下佢啦，2019、2020、2021，即係嗰啲價錢咧有咩大嘅分別咧 ？Okay, Matthew, can you share with us what is the average price like 2019, 2020, 2021, like during this COVID, pre-COVID? What is the average price? How much has it gone up?
Provincially, in 2019, we would have been around 265.
Wow.
That jumps to about 315. And this is March numbers, so they in 2020 they aren't that exciting. By 2021, they were up to 380, and then today we're looking at 450, and that's single family.
Okay, so you're saying that for today is 450. When was it 380?
A year ago.
Oh, a year ago. And then and 265 was when?
2019. So we're up about 50%.
Oh, okay. 佢嘅意思咧就係獨立屋咧平均價2019年嗰陣時咧先至26.5啫，26.5啫。咁係舊年咧即係2021咧就已經升到38萬，而家咧就係已經45萬啦。總之咧就真係起咗一半啦，嗱自己計數啦，26.5，而家咧就已經係45萬啦，即係2019到2022。區2年3年嘅時間 Okay, so for that reason, now, me as an investor, or British Columbian as an investors, shall we buy something and what can we buy? Because as far as I know, you guys have this new law come in, right? So, as an investor, shall we still consider Nova Scotia? So let me just translate that. 嗱，最近咧就 Nova Scotia 嗰邊咧 ，Halifax 嗰邊咧就有一個新嘅辣椒啊。咁咧個辣椒咧就係話咧，你非 Nova Scotia 嘅人咧就買嘢咧就要俾多5%。嗱，呢個唔係外國人稅啊，呢個係非 Nova Scotia 省份嘅人，即係我哋 BC 省去買嘢嘅時候咧。係要俾多5%，咁我就問佢啦，我話咁樣嘅情況之下，會唔會令到我哋唔好再去咧？會唔會真係會卻步咧？咁樣樣。So Matthew, share with us what is this what is this new government intervention? Will this stop the out-of-province investors going there? And do you think that it will help the housing price to come down, please?
It's hard to say because really, to just sort of explain the tax is an additional 5% detransfer tax.
Yes.
Which means that's so in Halifax, your detransfer is normally 1.5% of the purchase price.
So it becomes like 6.5.
Yes, so it becomes 6.5.
Okay. So
and then additionally to that, there's another 2% that will be charged annually against your assessed value. So if it was, if you're in Halifax and it was around a 1.25% tax, that would increase to 3.25.
3.25 as an out of province property owner.
Yes.
OK
Yes.
OK， 咁咧就而家啦，如果你投資咧，咁啊嗰個成本就高咗啦。點解咧？嗱，嗰邊咧嘅過戶費咧，一般嚟講咧就係 1.5% 嘅個價錢總價嘅 1.5%，OK， 即係我哋呢度有唔同噶嘛，有幾頭20萬啊1%，餘數咧就2%啊，超過200萬咧又3%咁，佢哋唔係嘅。總之咧就係一個價錢 1.5%， 但係我哋 BC 省人去買嘅時候咧，我哋就要俾多5%， 即係變咗 6.5% 嘅過戶費 ，6.5% 嘅過戶費。好啦，唔係淨係呢樣嘢喎。Property tax. So that was the property tax that you mentioned at the end is the 1.25 for Nova Scotians, correct? And then the out of province is 3.25, correct?
In depending on which region you're in, that example would be Halifax. It could be higher or lower depending on which. That's
right, but that is property tax annually, right?
Yes, annual property tax.
Okay, so let me translate that. 佢意思咧就係話咧，嗱，如果你係嗰邊嘅人。每年嘅交稅咧嘅地稅咧就係 1.25%， 但係咧如果我哋即係BC 省去買嘅咧，就即係非 Nova Scotia 嘅人去買嘅時候咧，你就最貴咧就即係 Halifax 嗰度咧，你就會加2%，就變咗 3.25%。嗱，如果你唔係喺佢嗰個市中心嗰度買嘢嘅時候咧，咁你就會平啲。但係咧，如果你係市中心喺即係 Halifax 度買嘢嘅時候咧，就要加2%，就變咗 3.25%， 所以變咗你嘅成本咧就會加咗啦。Okay, now why are they? I mean, like, did you guys get any consent?
I just want to say, but before everyone's scared off by the taxes, there are exemptions to them.
Oh, okay.
So anyone who moves here within 6 months can reclaim.
Okay.
5%, the additional 5%.
Okay.
So if they plan on moving here,
okay.
They would be able to recoup that. And with the 2%, there are several exemptions for that. One, and probably the most relevant one for anyone who doesn't plan on moving here, it would be that if you do rent the property to a Nova Scotia resident on a 12-month basis, then you are exempt from the additional 2%.
So if I move to Nova Scotia within 6 months, then I can potentially get the 5% reimbursement.
Yes.
Okay, but if I don't, I only invest there and I know that I'm paying 6.5%. However, for the property tax annually, if I rent it to a Nova Scotians for a 12-month basis, I do not need to pay for that 2% extra.
Yes.
Okay, so let me translate that. 嗱，如果你係打算喺6個月度咧就會搬去 Nova Scotia 去住嘅時候咧，你就可以申請退回嗰5%。OK。但係如果你話，天哪，我純粹係愛嚟收租嘅啫 ，OK， 咁你就要俾嗰個額外嘅5%啦。但係如果你個租客係喺 Nova Scotia 住嘅人，當然啦，係咪？但係咧，你個租約咧係以12個月嚟到計嘅話咧，你就唔需要去俾嗰個額外嘅2%。Okay, so I understand that now. So for that reason, like. Why is this? I mean, did you get any consent? Did the government tell you anything? How much time they announced this and then implement this like right away? How much time did they give you?
Well, during their campaign, because we changed from a Liberal government to a Conservative government in August. During that time period, there was some rumblings about this potential tax, but nothing made official until basically the last week of March, and there wasn't consultation with like our association, which would be the largest association of realtors in Nova Scotia, and we're one provincial board. We're not separate by regions in Nova Scotia.
So if I bought it a pre-sale, or if I bought anything, I have a binding contract before last week of March, and then unannounced, by the time I complete the property, that will be past April 1st, and I have to pay extra 5%.
No, any agreements that were any accepted offers before April 1st would not be subject to the tax.
Okay, all right, okay, I got it. 咁佢嘅意思咧就係話咩咧？原來佢哋咧即係同我哋都係一樣啦。OK， 而家啲政府咧就根本就冇民意，唔係冇乜民意。OK， 咁基本政府咧就係話 OK， 佢3月尾咧就宣布話有呢個咁嘅辣招5%。4月1號咧就實行啦。OK， 4月1號就實行啦。咁即係話咧，如果你有一個即係正所謂我哋嘅死約啦，唔係生約啦。OK， 你死約咧就係4月1號之前嘅話咧，你可以唔使俾，咁啊好過我哋少少啊。OK， 即係我哋2017年如果大家記得咧，自由黨嘅時候咧就係話要嗰個15% 嘅外國人稅啦，嘣一聲七日之後咧就個個都要俾咁樣，所以嗰陣時鬧到天翻地覆啦。咁但係佢哋嗰度就唔係。4月1號之前嘅 offer 收到嘅咧，佢就唔需要去俾呢個5% 嘅額外嘅辣招，正所謂嘅即係個稅務上去啦。Okay, so how about the do you think that this will detour a lot of the out-of-province investors? 咁我問佢啦，會唔會即係令到好多啲我哋啲咪投資者卻步咧 ？Do you think you will see that?
The initial reaction to that is that we don't feel like it'll hurt the investor as much, more so than it would the casual property owner, like the person who has a cottage here, because a lot of the rules are sort of targeted at that. It's it only applies to residential buildings that are 3 units or less. So your triplexes and less will be affected, but if anyone who owns a fourplex and beyond is not going to be subject to this. So the large scale investor is not going to be affected, but your cottage owner who only comes for a month of the year and therefore can't rent it for 12 months, they're going to be impacted by this.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that if I buy anything 4 units and above, I don't have to pay that 5% extra nor the extra 2% on the property tax annually?
No.
OK， 即係有錢就大晒啦呢個世界，聽到喎。如果你係買3個單位以下嘅，即係好似獨立屋啦，或者有2個廚房啦，或者即係整一啲孖屋啊，或者即係 triplex 啊咁樣咧，你先至即係外省人啊，正所謂外省人啦，先至需要俾個5% 嘅額外嘅辣招費，同埋咧嗰個每個年嘅地稅咧要額外俾嗰啲咁嘅錢，除非你係租俾嘅12個月咧，就即係租俾嘅 local 嘅人。如果你係買超過3個單位4個單位或以上咧，你就唔使俾喎。咁你話呢啲咧係咪真係？唉，有錢嘅人咧就反而唔使俾。我哋呢啲一般小市民咧就反而俾。It sounds like it's not fair to me, Matthew, because that means that rich people they always get, a sweet spot, like things, they invest in there and they don't need to pay. But then the people who might just want to buy 1 unit and under 3 units, and then those are the one who get dinged. That's what is, right?
It's not just that. It's like, we had for decades, especially my generation, our young population left for years. And maybe as they went to Calgary and worked for 10 years, they may have purchased a piece of land or a small cottage that they wanted to return home to their their province. Like they're Nova Scotian, but just couldn't make a living, here. So they moved, but they wanted to keep a piece of that, and now they're going to be charged the same, 2% annually for their cottage that was, possibly their retirement plan.
Oh.
It's not just it's fair. It's kind of unfair to everyone.
Wow. I mean, like, what is the government thinking? I think the government these days across the board, they're not thinking. But anyway, that's another whole topic. So let me translate that. 佢嘅意思咧就話咧，唔係淨係影響咧即正所謂外省人啊，佢影響好多。佢話咧 Nova Scotia 啦，好多啲後生嘅咧，因為咧即係見到喺 Calgary 又好啊，BC 省又好 ，Ontario 又好咧，即係嗰啲就業嘅機會就多好多，或者揾錢亦都多好多，咁所以佢哋就離開。但係咧，佢哋走嗰陣時候咧，或者走之前咧，佢哋有買到啲物業嘅，咁佢哋都係得一個單位嘅啫嘛，係咪？或者係即係唔係話即係佢哋話可以買到好多好多好富貴咁樣啊嘛，係咪？咁所以咧變咗咁嘅情況，即係有啲咧就買嗰啲正所謂 cottage 啦。cottage 咧即係近即係海邊啊咁樣，咁嗰啲咧又唔係話即係可以12個月咧就租俾一個人喎，咁所以變咗呢一班亦都係 Nova Scotian 嚟嘅喎，係佢哋本省人喎，但係因為咧佢哋搬咗去第二個省嚟到工作，為求生活，咁佢呢一班人咧都要去額外俾呢個2% 嘅即係如果佢唔係租俾本土人連續12個月咧，佢哋都要去俾呢個額外嘅2% 嘅地稅。This is not fair, but what can we say? So what I want to ask is about this like bidding war situation. How bad is the bidding war going on or has been? So let me translate that. 咁佢哋咧嗰度即係我話佢哋嗰啲邊咧係咪即係競爭都係好大咧？即係好多人嚟到bidding war 咧咁。So has it been crazy, Matthew?
Yes, it has. It fluctuates with inventory. When inventory is really low, it gets more intense, and then it carries over even until inventory increases enough to sort of dial it back. So if there's only in certain areas, especially like January through February, a lot of people aren't listing homes. It's not a great time. Your property doesn't look nice. It's there's some snow, but it's a lot of rain. It looks dreary. So not many homes are on the market, and so if you've got 20 people that are looking in a certain neighborhood and only one house pops up, it does get fairly intense.
Yeah. So how many offers? How crazy did you hear? Because I heard that in London, Ontario, a townhouse got 72 offers. Like, what is the crazy number that you got there?
The craziest number I think we had was around 50 offers on it was a place priced around $250,000. I'm sort of just off of the Halifax Peninsula, so like in terms of location, fantastic. Yeah. The land alone would have been worth $250,000, so it was priced aggressively low to create competition. One of our factors is there's so much media about this percent over asking that houses are selling for, that as a listing agent you have to create a cushion for that overbid percentage. Otherwise, if you sort of price it at full price, you'll scare people off. Because they're afraid that it'll go for even more.
So what is that 250,000 end up so far after 50 offers? Do you know?
It was around 387, I believe.
Holy cow! OK， 咁我頭先問佢啊嘛，我話咧安大略省咧，我聽過咧最勁咧就72個 offer， 我話佢哋最多聽到幾多咧？佢話嘅咧有50個 offer， 個叫價咧就係25萬，咁咧但係咧嗰個經紀咧個賣家個經紀咧就特登咧就叫低啲嘅，咁啊所以咧就係咁啊搶啦，咁咧就媒體咧亦都係不停咁樣去報導啦，咁但係呢個情況咧就因為咧就根本唔係一個即係個市場價錢嚟嘅，係特登係標低咗嘅。我話最撈尾賣咗幾多錢咧？最撈尾賣咗咧係38.7萬。OK， so now let me finish our conversations with overseas. We want to ask you, like the federal government ban you know, like international buyers. But I want to ask you, who are any international buyers in Nova Scotia, and who are they? And Chinese or Europeans, and what are they? So let me quickly translate. 咁我想知道咧，究竟咩外國人咧喺 Nova Scotia Halifax 嗰度買嘢嘅咧 ？Yes, please share.
We generally attract buyers from everywhere. Anyone who's like, so often we'll get calls from people. They could be from the like Europe, the United States, Germany, China, but oftentimes they've been here, they liked it, they want to invest here, or they know someone who has recently come here and purchased here. So it's often there's often a connection beyond just sort of hearing about it,
So someone
beyond
here.
your standard investment.
Yeah. 咁佢意思咧就好多咧就係外國人啦、德國啦、中國啦，同埋好多時咧即係已經有人買咗啦，咁啊啲 friend 就話俾啲 friend 聽啦，咁啊所以咧就去嗰度，咁仲有美國啦好多咁嘅情況之下都有去嘅。So do you find the Chinese has gone down dramatically over since 2017?
There was quite a drop in 2020 and 2021. I'd say, 2020 especially, especially where there was limited travel here.
Yeah.
It's hard for people, and we had as much as we had a lot of freedom within the province or Atlantic Canada for that matter. We had very tight restrictions to come to Nova Scotia or the Atlantic region, depending on the time.
Okay.
So without the opportunity for people to come here, it did slow. But more international buyers they're back.
Okay, so I really thanks. I'm gonna translate that, but really thank you for sharing your time with us and your insight. 咁佢嘅意思咧就即係話咧，中國嗰邊咧就係2020年嘅時候咧就係即係少咗好多人，咁啊梗係啦，個個都唔出得嚟啦嘛，係咪？疫情期間，所以係好明白嘅。咁佢咧就話咧，即係中國咧都好多人咧就過去Halifax 嗰度咧係投資嘅。咁今日咧就好多謝咧Matthew 同我哋分享咁多嘅關於咧 Halifax Nova Scotia 嗰個情況。咁有啲咩嘅時候，如果大家咧都覺得哇廿零30萬30零萬咁睇得過喎，玩得過喎，就算佢有個辣椒都唔介意嘅話咧，俾個電話我，咁我可以同Matthew 咧就同大家咧去分析多啲嘅。So Matthew, really appreciate your time today, and thank you for staying up. And I will talk to you again in the near future, and hope to see you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. 咁咧今日都好多謝啦。OK。Bye.